Now then, in just under a month's time, there's going to be a fashion show in High Wycombe where the theme is all about recycled clothing. It's all about taking stuff from charity shops or old clothes that are no use anymore, chopping them up, mixing them together and making brand new outfits. And it's got a bit of a Halloween theme. It's called Rags to Witches. And I'm emceeing. I did MC a similar event a couple of years ago. Here's a little clip of me in action.
This is an evening about recycling, upcycling, making the most of what you've got, make do amend, etc., etc.
Well, this year I decided I do need a Halloween themed costume and some sort of headgear. So I'm making another hat. Now look, I have this thing here. Remember this? Remember this? I'm going to use it, I think, as a prop. Maybe fit the microphone into it so I can use it as a microphone stand during the fashion show. But then what I need is a hat that goes with a metallic dragon. And that means a metallic dragon hat. The first stage is making a frame for the hat, the helmet. And I'm going to be using mostly cardboard, and I'm going to start by measuring front to back my enormous fat head. So I'm going to put a piece on here like this. This actually looks about right. So I want it to go down sort of there on the nape of the neck and come around onto the forehead. Next, I need to get the circumference of my head. So I'm measuring a bit of cardboard here. And that's quite a nice hat in itself, isn't it? Obviously, look at the corrugations in the cardboard. Now in this case, because this is going around my head, I've made sure the corrugations go that way, because that way it's a lot easier to bend it and get it into a round shape that's going to be comfortable. Would have been a lot harder if I was going against the grain, as it were. Now we've got the basics of our hat. And now we have a top and an inside. I've now wrapped a block of polystyrene with cardboard and stuck it onto the front of the hat. This is going to be the dragon's muzzle. Naturally, my dragon needs horns, so I got a piece of double thickness plumbing pipe and started to bend it. As you can see here, I've got it anchored with a piece of rope to bend it round into a loop, because the idea was to create a kind of, I suppose, a bit like antlers on the back of the head. And every day I tighten the rope a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, until I got it exactly into the loop shape that I wanted. And here's what it looked like. See, it's really starting to go into a lovely loop. But then disaster struck. The tension was obviously far too much and the pipe folded. So what I had to do then is find a different way of actually keeping the tension. So I used some gaffer tape for that. But the gaffer tape actually then gave me a better anchoring point for the glue to stick it onto the hat. So now you see, it works really well. So serendipity. That's a good word, isn't it? It means a happy accident. So now you see, I've got horns. I've now cut some polystyrene chunks and I'm just putting them all together to make a kind of top of the head. And I'm using cocktail sticks to pin them together. That's all now pinned together, and that's now going to go on top of the head like that to give the form of the top of the head. But I can't use hot glue to stick that polystyrene down. So I'm going to wrap it in masking tape first. There we go, we've now got a proper shape to the top of the head. So bulking out is done. I've covered the whole thing now in tape, and every surface now is available for being glued on. So now I can start adding all the metal plates to make it look like it's been fabricated from metal. I'm now covering the head in a patchwork of what will look like metal plates, but obviously it's just packaging, it's just cardboard. I've now added a nose, teeth, all these metal plates. Well, they'll look like metal plates when I've painted them. Eyes, and I've started adding googly eyes, which will be the rivets. The head has now had a spray of black primer, as you can see. Next I'm going to give it some gunmetal grey and then highlight with a little bit of silver. Then I'm going to add some red, and I'm going to do the same to this chap over here. I'm going to add some red onto this one to make it look more demonic. Reviewing what I'd done, I felt like it needed a few more rivets, so out came a packet of googly eyes, which are really good for doing rivets, and I took them over and stuck a few on the dragon head. Well, I say a few. I might have gone a little bit over the top. The thing is, once they're all painted black, and then there's a little bit of a spray over the top to highlight them, they're going to look like metal rivets, and you won't notice that it is hundreds and hundreds of googly eyes. Yeah, okay, I better get on and do that. Black primer, gunmetal grey, chrome, and here's our metallic looking dragon hat. Now this is a painting technique I learned a few years ago. What you do is, once you've got your metallics on there, if you want to make it look like rusted, dirty old metal, then the first stage is to start, you add some colour to the centre of it, but you don't go all the way to the edges, and you actually leave some gaps around the rivets. The reason being, it looks as if it's worn then. Yeah, it'll just look like it was originally red, but now the red has worn off. So let's just do a couple more to show you. See, don't go all the way to the edge, and don't go all the way to the bolts. That's that done. Now, got to do this one. I've made a start, a little bit more to go yet. Okay, so I'm pretty pleased with how it looks now. It looks pretty good, but it does keep slipping down over my eyes, as you can see, because the front is quite heavy. So what I now have to do is think about some way of stopping it slipping here, or adding some weight to the back to counterbalance the nose. I've got an idea. So I've got these little weights. I've got about 3 or 4 of them. I can't even remember where they came from. They just say 2000. Oh, I thought it was 2009. It's not. It's 200 grams on each. So 2 of these, 400 grams. That's about a pound, isn't it? Let's just double check that a minute on these scales. Yeah, 400 grams exactly. So that's about a pound in weight. I reckon that will counterbalance the nose. It's only made of cardboard and polystyrene. And it just so happens by sheer coincidence that there are these voids on the back of the head where these will just about fit, and I can glue them in place, and they kind of fit all right on the back of the head. Let's give it a try. Do you know what? That's better already. Adding a pound of weight at the back is brilliant. I decided to add some eyes to this dragon so that the 2 of them matched. But there you go, there's him all painted in broken up, chipped red metallic. And there's the hat that goes with it. And of course I've painted the mast all the way down to the mouthpiece at the bottom. Now let's put it all together. And here I am, the mighty dragon lord, with my mighty dragon hat and my mighty dragon staff, which does make a horrible noise. You probably recall that from the Rusty Dragon video. So there you go, it's all completed, it's all finished. Next up is the actual fashion show where I'll be donning this outfit and emceeing. I'll give you a clip of the video from that when we actually do the event. But in the meantime, toodle pip. Rawr, rawr, rawr. And don't forget that our Neo-Pagan Wheel of the Year calendar is now available to pre-order. UK residents simply scan the QR code. Overseas customers email us at copa.artist@gmail.com and we'll try and work out the cheapest way of posting it to you. Thanks very much. If you've enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing. Or click on some of these links to look at some of the other videos on the channel. Or press the like button. Or leave a comment. It would be lovely to hear from you. Any combination of those 4 things would be wonderful. Thank you very much.